And I have started the recording also.
Okay. Sounds good. Jenny, did you ever do the new meeting training, by the way?
I did the one with the Nearpod.
I guess that's it. I have no idea.
It had like 3 sections and there were questions for each. There was like a little quizzy question thing at the end of each section.
Okay, was it like an introduction to everything? Okay,
Yeah.
that's probably it.
Yeah. It was the one that she
I
sent.
did the same one too.
It's the same one? Okay, so you both did that. Okay, and we have someone, it looks like, on a phone.
Darlene Trigg joined by phone.
Oh, there we go. Okay, good. Perfect. Well, then I guess we will.
We also have a emeritus member of the SGC, Mr. Barth. Like, so that's awesome.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Barth.
Welcome, Mr. Barth. It's good to see you, or at least your initials again. I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order then, because we have a quorum. And let me go back to my agenda. So to start off, do we have, I guess we need to vote to approve the agenda for today. Does anyone want to add anything to the agenda before we do that? Okay, then do we have a motion to approve the agenda for today, 9/23?
A motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Val. And a second?
Emily Kennedy seconds.
Thank you. All in favor of approving the agenda for 9/23? I guess say your name.
Jenny Hardigan.
Val.
Kalila.
Emily.
Darlene.
Okay, and Laura. Any opposed? Okay, then that motion passes to approve the agenda for 9/23. So next is to vote to approve the meeting minutes from 8/26.
Ms. Hunter, can I interrupt?
Yes.
Dr. Williams, I owe her an apology. During our last meeting, I wrote down who convened the meeting and who approved the minutes, and I lost that information. So The minutes are a little bit incomplete. It's my fault, not Dr. Williams, so I'll take the hit on that one, and I apologize.
Okay. So do we know, is there any
So-
consequence to that, or?
Just missing what time it was called to order and who the agenda, I sent the email, who approved the previous meetings minutes and that agenda. Do we know?
No idea. Does anyone remember who?
Would that be available from the previous recording?
Did we record it before?
No, it was a live meeting, so we didn't record it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we, I mean, since it's, can we just approve it?
Yeah, I say a motion to approve the minutes as they stand for 8/26.
Everything else is complete because I got your notes, Laura, from the beginning, from that point on. And then I joined in a few minutes after, so I got everything else. It was just that part that was missing.
I think we're fine, probably. Go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes from 8/26, knowing that there's a few little inconsistencies. Is there anyone who motions?
Jenny Hardigan.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second. Ponick.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Val,
Darlene, aye.
Emily?
Unanimous. I mean, Kalila.
Okay. Any opposed?
I'm writing.
Okay, think we're good. That should be everyone. Go back to my agenda. So informational items. Again, we have our meeting norms listed at the bottom. Basically focused on attending meetings, being positive, being respectful, working for the benefit of all. I know in the training I went to yesterday, they did talk about maybe having some virtual norms. Does anyone think there's a good virtual norm or anything we need to add for virtual meetings as far as our meeting norms? Okay, well then I just want to again emphasize communication because it is a little different with a virtual meeting as opposed to a face-to-face type situation. So if at any point you have something to say or a comment, then please let it be known. We can also use the chat function if that's easier as well. But otherwise, then Dr. Shaw, we can move on to principal update.
Sure. So a few things then as I look through the agenda. So where we are in terms of opening school or phasing in the opening of school. So I really want to thank our staff. They have done a tremendous job. And I think, whether you're on here live or listening to the recording, our staff has had a lot thrown at them. And, it's very hard sometimes to teach when you're talking to a computer and you're getting no response. So they've been doing a great job. And even this week now, our staff, some of them have kids in the classroom and kids online, and they're doing a great job. And I couldn't ask for more. So I really appreciate them. The phase 3 plan seems to be working. We've had it for a couple of days. We've tried very hard, we have worked very hard as an admin team to be consistent. Any issues with masks, we've fixed them with students. They've been compliant. And I really want to thank the staff for following through and being visible and helping kids figure out where to go. Remember, for some of our 9th graders or new students, or a lot of our 9th graders, this is the first time they even stepped in the building is this week. So the staff has done a great job. The phase 4 plan is pretty much the same, and the administrative team is reviewing it. Department chairs will see it tomorrow. The big difference is we're going to start clubs again. There'll be a sweet bus, and more groups of kids will come in. So I don't remember it off the top of my head, but like group 1 and group 3 come on Monday and Wednesday, something to that effect. So as soon as we get that approved and reviewed, we'll send that out to the staff. The biggest thing is middle October when we come back face to face. The district is still putting together their guidance. I reached out to Cliff Jones this morning, who's our chief academic officer. Once that comes out to the schools, then we'll get our back to school committee back together and really look at what face-to-face looks like for Roswell High School. I've gotten the question about how many kids are choosing to come to school or stay at home and do URL. It's about 20% in the survey. Now, what we've also found out to be quite honest, is the survey has not been accurate. Some parents didn't get the email, or they didn't understand it, or they weren't sure what to do. So we're working through those issues. I want to shout out to Angie Miller, our data clerk. She single-handedly is reviewing those emails and putting kids in phase 3 or face-to-face or whatever they desire. So we're working on that, but it's been pretty small crowds. But we're working on getting that correct and accurate. So any questions about some of the plans that we've gone through, or any of the plans we have coming?
Dr. Shaw, it's Darlene.
Hey.
I have a quick question. Hey,
Sure.
when you say 20%, are you saying it's 20% of the students are staying home, or 20% of the students are thinking about coming back?
It was 20% of the students, and while you're talking, I'm going to pull that up to make sure I don't misspeak and my notes are wrong, but it's about 20% of the students who are elected to go face-to-face, which means elected to stay home. Now, that's where it gets interesting, because that's not, at least anecdotally, that's not what we're seeing in the hallway. But I'm going to pull that up while I'm talking, Ms. Trigg, and make sure I'm giving you the right response here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Yeah,
Dr. Shaw,
go ahead.
there were questions about when we are back. Well, I guess, and this is the stuff you'll discuss as a committee, like when we are back October 14th, will the daily bell schedule, office hours, and Wednesdays stay the same, or will that all change?
Sure, that's not decided. More than likely, we're going to have to go back to our 6-period day for a variety of reasons when we go back in the middle of October. We're going to stick with the schedule through phase 4, but if we go back face to face, we'll more than likely have to go back to the traditional 6-period day with the 4 lunches and all that stuff. So yeah, remote during phase 3 is about 20%. Remote during phase 4 actually has gone up. It's almost 30%. Remote during face-to-face is about 23%. So those are the most accurate numbers that we have. So thanks for asking.
Sure, thank you.
Yep. Okay, so there's been some changes that I thought I'd talk about with the recovery plan for URL. And I know this has generated some questions, and we've worked through it. This came from the district, so we of course will comply. But there's also been some conversation about how to implement that here at Roswell. So just very briefly, if you'll indulge me. The original plan that was put out by the district was students may recover any failed assignment during URL learning to earn a passing grade. What they said was mastery. This may be only done 3 times per assignment. So what we decided at Roswell is that we would set that passing grade at 70. So any student who failed an assignment, a summative assignment, one of the 12, right, they're allowed to make that up to get a passing grade. And that was our plan for everything before September 18th. I can't remember now if it was Thursday or Friday, we got the email from the district saying that has changed. So just to the biggest thing I think for our community to understand is for our teachers to manage, what we said is that the new policy would be in place, which is what the district said, from the 21st on, which was Monday. And that policy is a little bit different. Quizzes may be considered as summative assessments. We found out that most of our teachers are already doing that. Students will only have 1 attempt to retake an assignment. Students who earn a 79 or less are eligible for a redo retake, and they can earn up to an 89 as that replacement grade. So and the other change is that all retakes must be completed before 10 days prior to the end of the semester. So that's what was emailed out to us. And again, the biggest thing, if a parent has a question, is what is the due date of that assignment? If the due date was Thursday, September 17th, they're under the old policy. If the due date was September 23rd, today, then it's the new policy. And we did that, 1, to keep it clear, and 2, just to help our teachers manage the workload, because I can't imagine trying to keep track of who's on what recovery policy. So I hope that makes sense. And again, this is only for URL. This is only for the time period that we're in this COVID-19 situation. So the hope is that we can get back to our traditional policies, maybe even as early as 2nd semester. So go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So when the kids are back in October and there's 25% or 30% of them that stay home, does that recovery policy stand for only the kids at home, or all the kids, or the whole, like, do you understand what I'm asking?
I do. And Gina, you brought up a good point that especially if people are listening or watching this later, the challenge is we're basically running two schools. We're having one in the building and one online. So we have to have the same policies for both because it's impossible to manage, especially if we have kids who switch, right? So
Right.
the answer to your question is yes, it'll be the same whether they're in the building or whether they're at home.
So the rest of the semester should stand the way that we're
Yes.
hearing it now. Okay.
Yes. Unless we get different information, that is the current plan, is that we remain in this face-to-face URL through December.
Thank you.
Yep, great question. Okay, let me talk about a few things that are just going on school spirit-wise. First of all, I really want to thank Ms. Hartigan, who's on this call, and our senior leaders. They put together a couple of drive-throughs for our kids, got some chicken biscuits. It was great to see them. And just so you know, we meet by phone at least once a week. Sometimes scheduling gets in the way. We're trying to meet once a week with our student leaders just to talk through what they're hearing, answer concerns, address the rumor mill, and that's always a great opportunity. Like I said, it's been great to see kids in the building. Sports-wise, varsity football team started their year beating Centennial, so we're glad about that. It was also senior night. Softball is off to a great start. They ruled Alpharetta last night. They beat Woodstock 1-0. Hannah Gore, our senior pitcher, threw a no-hitter, so really proud of her in the team. They play in North Atlanta tonight. Cross country will travel to the Fulton County Championships on Saturday. And volleyball is just killing it. They have wins over Johns Creek, a region win over Woodstock. They've also beat Pope, who's one of the top 6A programs in the state. So our fall sports are off to a great start, and we're really, really proud of them. And of course, band, can't forget them. We don't have the traditional marching band show, but there is a pretty strong pep band put together, and they've been at games, and we're excited about that. So I want to thank Mr. Moon and Mr. Long and our band parents for making that happen. The last thing I want to talk about is budget, since that is something that's important for this committee. Our 10-day enrollment, which sets our budget for the year, was 3 students over projected. So we didn't gain anything, we didn't lose anything, we didn't lose or gain any staff, we didn't lose or gain any dollars. So the budget that we put in place for the year, we're sticking to that. Ms. Munker and I, who's next door, we do review it from time to time. One of the things that has been an adjustment is we're spending a lot of money on things we need for COVID-19, whether it's, I think teachers today, and correct me if I'm wrong, staff, I think you got some headphones and some glasses, whatever was requested. We bought hand sanitizer. We bought all kinds of different things. You know, we may get reimbursed, we may not, but we are spending a lot of our I guess, extra income. There's really nothing extra, but the money that we put aside for materials and supplies, we're spending that on things for COVID-19. So, and that's fine. I'm not complaining. I'm just letting folks know that that's where one of our big budget items is right now. And if the budget subcommittee wants to meet with me and Ms. Munker, we can definitely share that information. It's all public knowledge. So if any other questions on that, and if not, unless there's some questions for me that don't pertain to what I talked about, Ms. Hunter, that's pretty much what I've got.
Okay.
Hey, just super quick, sorry.
Yeah, come on, Emily.
Sorry, it's Emily Kennedy, and I just wanted to say thank you because a lot of schools haven't been getting the stuff that you guys made such an effort to purchase for students and staff. So I just wanted to say a big thank you for that. I got my blue light glasses today, so that was
good. Good. Yeah, I've never tried those on. I have to do that. But no, and again, that was the department chairs. It was Ms. Moonker, who's in the office next door, that they made that go. So I really appreciate that.
I want to say something. I'm on Facebook, and I'm in this page with parents or whatever. That's generally, you know, people griping and blah 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 blah. But I saw this on there, and like in the middle of the night, I was like, "Oh, Roswell!" And somebody said, it was a parent of a 9th grader, and it said, "Congrats to Roswell High School teachers and administration for a great first day back to face. My daughter is I'm reading it on my phone. Can you see my phone? I'm reading it. My daughter is in 9th grade and said that there are only 4 to 5 students per class. Masks are required, and eating lunch outside with a few friends was great. Just want to put some positivity out there regarding the process Fulton County Schools is doing for our students." So they shouted out Roswell High School on this little Facebook page where normally people are just kind of complaining. So I was like, oh, awesome. So yeah, you guys are doing a great job, and people notice.
Yeah, listen, our staff deserves it. They have been amazing, and you know, I'm humbled really to see the things that they're trying to do and trying new things, and some of them work and some of them don't, but they're plugging along and doing what they think is best for the kids. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. That was very nice.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Next is public comment, and Dr. Shaw, you said there was nothing online, but I know we do have a guest, so I just wanted to.
Sure, let me, wow, if the guest wants public comment, that's great, but while you're talking, Ms. Hunter, let me pull it up and just double check one more time.
Okay, so I just want to remind you, public comments limited to 3 minutes per individual, and I don't think the rest of this really matters as much. So, Mr. Barth, did you have anything to say? Okay.
If you are talking, Mr. Barth, you might be on mute. I've become an expert at that. Unmute.
I'm
muted. I was muted too. Ms. Hunter, there's nothing.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess we will go ahead and move on then. And the next was a follow-up to, says the empathy protocol, but really it's another activity similar to the empathy protocol. The school governance leaders from the county have started sending little activities to kind of guide some of our discussions as we go. So I wanted to, again, just do a quick intro into one of these, because one of the big things that we do as a school governance council is the budget and some of the extra funds. Oh, Meredith, I see your hands up. Did you have a question, comment?
Hi, I do. I'm just wondering if anybody can hear me.
Now we can.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is the first time that I've actually been able to get through. Hi, Dr. Shaw.
Hello, it's good to see you.
Thank you for inviting me, whoever did that. Now I can hear. Everything is great. Keep talking. Good. I just wanted to check in and be sure this was working. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think it helped that we didn't set it up as a live meeting this time. That seemed a lot easier. So
perfect.
We'll stick to this type of meeting, I think, from now on.
Wonderful. Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yep, you're fine. I'm going to switch my screens and run us through a quick activity. I'm going to show us a rubric that the county has developed. I can remember how to share my screen. There we go. And switch documents. There we go. So this is, they've labeled this the School Governance Charter Dollar Spending Rubric. And let me see if I can show more of this at once. Is that still readable?
Yeah.
Actually, let me also do this and share. Send you guys a link in the chat as well. Maybe not with editing. This again. Actually, copying the link would help. There we go. And sorry, I have all kinds of alerts popping up on my screen. There we go. So the first thing they want us to do is I'm switching over to my protocol. What are 3 things you notice about the rubric? If you want to take a second to jot down 3 things you notice. Okay, does anyone want to share at least one of their 3 things?
Hey, Laura.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I came in a little bit later. Can you kind of give me just a brief sum up of where we are, just so I know what you're talking about?
So we have this activity that the school governance board from the county has suggested that we run through to kind of focus our how we end up spending those $30,000 that we have for our whatever they're calling them now, seed fund, charter dollars. I don't know, it changes every year. I think I've been on the council for 4 years and it's had 4 names. But the extra money that we have. And so what they want us to do is kind of look at this rubric and break it down, just so that when we then start kind of figuring out what we want to spend that money on, making sure that it's going where it needs to go. So that's why they gave us this rubric. So does anyone have something they want to share that they noticed from the rubric?
I do, Darlene, that it's really important that the way we spend our money is tied to the strategic plan.
Mm-hmm. So that really should be guiding anything that we're doing as far as our funding. Anyone have something else?
I do. I was just looking at these under the high priority category. I think it's important for us to figure out if the money that we spend, we want to be focused more on the students versus the community, and how the community is being, certainly with the COVID stuff happening, whether we want it to focus directly on the students or, the teachers, or, how we want to work on where we want the focus to be.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Along those same lines, I liked that there were 2 different rows for like the impact and the usage that deals with how many students it impacts, but also how many times a year we use those resources, because something might be a really good help for a small group, but a lot of times per year. So I like that those are separated.
I agree with that.
Yeah, and I know in the past we've had this discussion too, and this is somewhat indicated on there about making sure it's something that's like reusable, that we can get a repeated use out of, and not something that's really kind of a one-time thing. So I like that was a whole row as well. Anyone have anything else? So the next question they have for us is, what are 2 ways that a proposal to spend funds would score 2 to 3 points on the rubric?
I'm sorry, will you repeat that, please?
Yeah. How, let me say this, 2 ways that a proposal to spend funds would score just 2 to 3 points on the rubric.
For example, if it was only going to help one class, like if it was only directed to freshmen, then it would impact less than half of the students. So it would really be a 1, because it might be a little more than 25%.
Yeah, so that like impact, if it only gets like a 1 for impact, and
right,
1 as far as like student achievement, then there's really kind of no point in doing it, probably.
Yeah.
Or if it doesn't align with the strategic plan.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So then the follow-up is 1 proposal that could create medium to high impact for students. Or we could look at past things that we've done and evaluate something that has had that medium to high impact as well.
Well, and y'all please forgive me, because I've missed a lot of the meetings in the past. I've sort of been on the outskirts of them, but just sort of thinking off the cuff, with the virtual teaching that we've had to adapt to, if there is some kind of training system or something that can impact that we could spend on the teachers to assist them throughout this, since we're going to have probably a good number of students remain virtual for the rest of the year, if that's still an option. That could be something that, we'd have to figure out in which priority that would fit into, but that could be something worthwhile if the teachers felt like they could benefit from that.
So it might be something that would have a high impact and high student achievement and benefit a large portion of the student body. I know, thinking about past things that we've done, like one of the things we did was buy a bunch of we spent a lot of money on some science equipment a couple years ago that was for doing kind of higher level labs. And the idea being that then that would open it up to more science classes. And so addressing student achievement, and ideally it would be available to all science students. So theoretically, every student just about in the school should be taking a science class. And then usage, it could be shared across classes. So that would be an example of something that could have a medium to high impact as well. So any final thoughts on this rubric? I think we're going to do some committee meetings following this, and so we could kind of, definitely the budget committee can start kind of talking about any possible ideas. I feel like it's still kind of early to really start putting ideas out there that were pretty, early in the year and getting a grasp on how things are running, and they're changing every month. So I'm not sure we're quite ready to start putting proposals out there, but definitely to start thinking about the types of things we might want and how we would evaluate them. So anyone else, final thoughts on the charter dollars before I move on? Okay, then our next thing on the agenda is a student update, but unfortunately neither of our students were able to be here today. So we don't have anything from them. Let me go back, actually, I forgot, and share the agenda again. Here we go. So we should be able to kind of run through the rest of these things, I think, pretty quickly. So informational items, we have our 2 committees. And again, I'd like us to meet in those committees following this. And I know Ms. Trigg and I have already set up the Budget and Finance Committee, and is it Pierre?
It's Pierard, like the pier in the ocean, like the pier in the ocean. I know.
Okay, Pierre.
It's a challenge, I know. I have not
yeah.
been able to reach out to everybody yet, but I would love to. So
okay, I can set that up pretty quickly for you guys to go ahead and do just a quick chance to touch base and kind of thinking about ways to increase communication and that type of thing. Right. Do you have anything you want to say to the general council right now?
Ms. Trigg, do you want to go first?
No, I am happy to wait until the committee meeting.
Okay. I was thinking, and this was sort of about what you were just talking about, Laura, is finding, talking about ways that we could get some input from our stakeholders about how best we could spend this money, where they feel like it could do the most impact. Obviously, as a committee, we would decide that, but I feel like getting info from even if it's just a simple survey, where do you feel the most impact could be made? Where do you feel like we need the most, that sort of a thing, just to kind of feel out the parents right now, to see what they're thinking about with all of this. I mean, this is new for everybody, what we're going through. So I don't know how you guys feel about that, and we'd certainly discuss that in the committee meeting.
Okay, and I know in the past we've reached out to the teachers and to PTSA.
Absolutely,
as our 2 main kind of people to go, our groups to go to as far as ideas for spending. So
and we should go to them first. Absolutely, I'm glad you said that.
Okay. Well, then we will set those meetings up in a second and do a quick check-in with those. And that leaves us ahead of schedule to set agenda items for our next school governance meeting. So I would say it would be pretty similar to what we have for this month. I don't think we have any too many action items or really anything to vote on. Does anyone have suggestions? Okay, well then we will leave it pretty similar to this month and leave it as kind of a check-in, and I'm sure they'll have another little activity for us to discuss as well. So reminder, our next meeting is the 28th, and I will try and get that set up a little bit more in advance than I did with this meeting. With as crazy as things have been this year, we'll make sure the agenda gets out a little bit earlier and all those meetings get set up ahead of time as well.
Thank you, Laura, for all that you're doing. I know you've got so much going on, and to do this on top of it, thank you for being the one.
You're welcome. It's getting easier.
You're making it look great.
Thank you. Well then, I guess motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Who made the most?
Meredith.
Who made
Meredith.
I'm sorry, Meredith Purard. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have a second?
Darlene will second.
Okay. And all in favor?
Val.
Okay. I do. Any opposed? Okay, then I am very quickly going to put a link to a committee meeting for the communications team, which is, I believe, Meredith, Val, Kirsten, Jenny, and then Dylan's not here. And then Darlene and I and Dr. Williams and Emily will meet real quick with the budget committee. But otherwise, I will see everyone next month, and we are good. So let me just quickly make this meeting.
Thank you.
Or do I need to leave this meeting running, or can I shut it down after you send those links?
I think you can shut it down after we all get out.
Okay.
We should be good. And thank you, Dr. Shaw.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thanks to everybody. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Thank you guys for doing a great job.
Thanks, everybody.
What am I doing? Just like copy hyperlinks. And so here is a link to the communications team. And let me know if that doesn't work the way I have in my head. But I think it should work. And then the budget and finance committee, does everyone know how to get into that meeting? It should be in your calendar and you should be able to just click on it, but I can add that link as well.
Laura, do I need to exit this meeting in order to, it looked like I clicked on that, but I'm not sure.
It should automatically take you over to that one.
Okay.
And then it might just put you on hold in this one, but once Dr. Shaw ends it, that'll be fine.
Okay.
If I've learned anything in the last 6 weeks, I think that'll work.
Hey, Laura, question, the joint Microsoft Teams meeting that popped up, that's for marketing, right?
Yeah, the one I put in the chat is for the communications one, and then here I can find the other link, if I can find my calendar. Committee, here's our budget and finance one. So there's the one for the budget one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, then I'll switch over to that one as well. And bye, Dr. Shaw.
Bye, Dr. Shaw.
Bye. Thanks, y'all. I'll just wait till everybody's off this meeting before I shut it down. So.
Okay.
Yep. Thanks, you guys. Great job. Thanks, Ms. Hunter. Thanks, Ms. Trigg.